everybody's Topwater Johnny, and it's windy out. So I'm going to be talking about my top 5 topwater lures for a windy day. Let's check it out. Whoa, there we go. Yeah! Woo, holy cow, folks. Topwater Johnny here, man. This is what we came here for. Look at that. Get back here. Look at that right there. That's the kind of beast that we came here for. There we go. Woo! At that one. Hooked. Hey everybody, it's Topwater Johnny here. I want to welcome to the next video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about my top 5 topwater lures for a windy day. And I'm really excited about this top 5 because a lot of times when it's windy out and there's a chop on that water, sometimes you think, well, today might not be the best day for topwater, so I better try something different. Well, as somebody who does primarily topwater, what I've done is I figured out which topwater lures or weight baits really can be successful on that windy day. So what we're going to do right now is go ahead and jump into my top 5 topwater lures for a windy day. All right.
5.
All right, everybody. And now my number 5 topwater lure for a windy day is the 6 cent swim crank right here, everybody. Not sure how many people remember this particular lure right here, but 6 cent came out with this, and it's actually a swim bait and a crankbait mix, but it only goes down 0 to 1 foot, which makes it technically a wake bait. It just goes a little bit lower than a normal wake bait, but I fished with this lure right here on windy days, and it really proved to be successful. Now there is rattles, as you can hear in there, there's some rattles in it, which makes it nice as well. Big, strong, stout hooks on there, as you can see. Comes with a feathered tail right here. And look at this. It's actually a jointed bait. So there's a little bit of a clacking noise that goes there as well. Got a front bill right here. So that shows you that most weight baits do have some type of bill right in the front right here. And this is by 6 cent. I've caught bass on it. And this is really an exciting lure to fish. So I'm not sure how many people out there have ever fished with this lure, but it comes in different colors. This is the shad pattern. I also have the bluegill pattern. And I really was excited to fish with this and catch fish on it. And this right here is my number 5 topwater lure for a windy day.
4.
All right, my number 4 topwater lure for a windy day is the MegaBass Loud. And this is a weight bait, as you can see right here. This was made by MegaBass. It's a much bigger lure, well, almost over an ounce in weight. So you're going to need some bigger equipment to throw this. I'm probably on a more of a medium heavy to a heavy rod and a reel that can actually handle the weight of this lure. But this lure right here is definitely a unique lure in itself. Like I said before, as you can see, it's a weight bait. It's got the propeller in the back. It's also split in the back, makes a lot of noise, lots of rattle and disturbance. And this lure really does cut through the water, even when there's chop on the water and there's a lot of waves on your local lake or pond. This lure can get down in there and really move side to side, almost like a swim bait, but not quite a swim bait, and really get down where those fish are so that they notice it. So this is one that definitely you can fish during the daytime, in the daylight, but also I found that it's a really cool lure even to fish in the evening or at night because, as you can hear right there, it makes a nice clanking noise right there. But this right here, this lure definitely will get bit, and it is a lure to use on a windy day. So this is my number 4 topwater lure for a windy day. All right.
3.
All right, my number 3 topwater lure for a windy day is the Smithwick Devil Horse. That's right. This right here is a true classic. in the area of top water. And one of the reasons why I really like this one is because this one creates a massive amount of disturbance on top of the water. Actually, when I bought this one, I reversed actually the spinners. As you can see, I reversed them so that they create more disturbance. I actually put a feather hook on the back to create a little bit more for when the fish can key in on it. And what I found was that, and this right here is kind of like the tiger color. So I use this one right here, but the bottom of it's kind of got that orange bluegill look to it right here. This lure, it gets bit. And on a windy day, on a day when it's kind of rough out, the devil horse is a definite go-to lure that you should consider. And I've enjoyed using it just because I can count on this lure on those windy days because it creates such a disturbance on the water. Now, always remember, I'm fishing from the bank. So the strikes that I'm getting from these kind of lures aren't happening out in the deeper part of the water. These kind of lures will call them up, but the strikes seem to happen as they are following it toward the shoreline. So a lot of my most massive and aggressive hits on these lures on windy days happen near the shoreline because that bass has been called up and it's following this lure. So this right here, the Smithwick Devil Horse, is my number 3 topwater lure for a windy day. All right.
2,
All right. My number 2 topwater lure for a windy day is the SB 125 pencil bait made by Evergreen. And this is a big bait right here. And I have caught some big bass on it as well. And on a windy day, one of the things for sure is you need something that's noisy and that can call them up. And one of the reasons why you should have some type of big pencil bait in your arsenal for a windy day is because some lures you're reeling and you're going to drive that reel, and you're going to reel and reel, bring the lure in, and as it reels in, it's making that noise. It's making that rattling. But you need a pencil bait, one that you can kind of pop and hold. This one will go right to left and walk the dog. So I really like the Evergreen SB 125. It comes in a smaller version as well, and I've caught fish on that as well. But I've seen the biggest and most ferocious hits on the bigger version right here. And there are a lot of different pencil baits out on the marketplace, but I really like this one by Evergreen. Plus, it ties in the front, as you already know, but this thing casts like a bomb when you want to throw it across a lake or a pond. And the powerful thing about this type of lure on a windy day is that you're able to pop it and hold, and it's doing that, and it's staying in a strike area. So if those bass are held up near cover and they're looking up and watching things swim by, this kind of lure has the ability to hold in place almost to give them a chance to key in on it and strike at it based on the sound and also based on the feather tail. So this right here definitely, once again, is a great lure. And this is my number 2 topwater lure for a windy day.
1,
All right, my number 1 topwater lure for a windy day. And this actually comes down to a little bit of a tie in a way. But number 1 is definitely the Whopper Plopper, which you saw earlier this week here. You saw me fishing on the Whopper Plopper 75 here on a very windy day and really bringing in those fish. And one of the things about the Whopper Plopper is its ability to spin and have that noise and that rattle front that comes from it. That really keyed in on the bass. That caused them to come in and strike at this. And then when you saw my video earlier this week, you really saw how those bass were keying in on this. But there's another lure that I'm going to be having a video featured in probably a couple of weeks or so. And it's not ready yet because it wasn't time for it. But it is a powerful topwater lure for windy days because I was killing it on them. And that is the Chasebait Druken Mullet right here. Yes, this right here is a powerful topwater lure for a windy day. And what makes it so powerful is that, look at that right there. It has a split right there. It has actually jointed piece right there. It has double propellers right here, an extra long stout hook back here, plus it sticks out a little bit further. That's helping with the short strikes. So when they come up and make a short strike at it, they're able to I'm actually able to hook them a little bit better. As you can see, got the fins in the front here, got more of a broader nose in the front, and looks more like an actual fish than the actual Whopper Plopper. A while back I did a comparison between the actual Whopper Plopper and the Druken Mullet, and I told everybody how the Druken Mullet's extra tail action would trigger bigger bites and more aggressive bites. And in my later video footage that I'll be sharing with you guys in a couple of weeks, you're going to see some really wild and aggressive topwater hits off of this lure here. So what I'm here to tell you is that my number one of all is the Chasebait Druken Mullet. That's the one that I think is truly my number one topwater lure for a windy day. But if you can't get that one, an absolute go-to is the Whopper Plopper 75 for a windy day. So what I wanted to share with you there were my number ones topwater lures for a windy day. All right, here they are, my top 5 topwater lures for a windy day. Number 5 is the 6 cent hybrid swim crank. Number 4 is the MegaBass I Loud. Number 3 is the Devil Horse. Number 2 is the SB 125 pencil bait. And my number ones is the Whopper Plopper 75 and the Chasebait Druken Mullet. Right here is my number one topwater lure for a windy day. So there you go. And there they are. Okay, well, there you have it, everyone. Those are my top 5 topwater lures for a windy day. And sometimes when people ask me about the equipment, I want to share with everybody, each one of those lures, I'm always using a medium heavy on those lures. I'm normally using 30-pound braid on those lures because it is a windy day and the water does have a chop on it. And because there's a little bit of waves and ripples, I'm not so worried about the fish seeing it because the water's usually not very clear. So they really are keying in on the sound, the vibration, and even sometimes the actual coloration of that lure because they're looking up. And so that's the kind of equipment that I'm normally using for these type of lures. Most of them are weight baits and some are top water, but they all require a little bit more heavier gear so that you can prepare yourself for that strike because you do have waves, you do have wind, and you need something once they hit it, and you really got to pay attention that you can lock into them and you can hold them down so that you can bring them in. So that's why I wanted to make sure that I kind of explained to everybody those things about each of those lures right there. And each one of those, it takes a little bit of time and practice getting used to it. And that's really what I've done with those. Now, if you want to see me fishing or doing a review in detail on any one of these lures, go below and you'll see links in my description box where you'll see actual footage of me fishing with them or talking about and discussing them in greater detail. Now, moving on to our next thing here is that our next video that'll be coming out Monday, and this one is a while back. I was really excited about it, and I did a review of it, but I couldn't do any fishing on it, didn't catch anything, but I caught some fish on it, and it is the Livingston Walking Boss number 2 right here. Look at that right there. That's a big lure right there. This is the one that has that EBS technology and that vibration that's going on inside of there. Lots of rattles, but it's got that vibration. Well, I put in some work on it, caught some fish on it, so I definitely want to show that to you next week, so be sure to tune in to watch that. Also, on next week, actually next Thursday, I'm going to do another top 5, and this will be my top 5 topwater lures for heavy cover. It's no secret that when you're fishing heavy cover, you need certain types of lures for certain types of situations. So I'm going to talk about how you deal with top water when you're dealing with, heavy cover, and you really want to fish with not just a frog, but you want to try some other things to be creative. I'm going to share with you what my top 5 are that I use besides a frog. And a frog, of course, is a great lure to use, but there's other lures you can use to get into those little pockets and be successful. So we'll talk about that next week. If there's any other top 5 that you're interested in, please let me know. Also, please be sure to join the text notification because I'm going to be dropping some more, I would say some more videos, but also those giveaways because we've entered into a new month. And so it's time to start doing some giveaways. My goal is to reach 4,000 subs, but I haven't got there yet, but I don't want to wait much longer. So I'm probably going to start doing some type of giveaway just to show my appreciation for each and every one of you guys. So join the text alert. That's what you see below, 31996, and then text the word Topwater. That puts you on the text alert. Once again, 31996, the word Topwater. That puts you on the text alert. Please subscribe to the channel, of course, and also hit the bell notification so you're notified of all of my upcoming events and videos. So once again, I want to thank you guys so much for subscribing to the channel, and I want you to always remember that phrase, keep your line tight, because when they hit that topwater lure, especially any one of those 5 on a windy day, it's going to be a big bite.